I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Nothing really stands out here on the midday models as being super exciting. I think some of the excitement is going to be the cool air that comes in as we go through next week and the precipitation that may fire off with that. But you know what? Before we get there, we have to address the warm air that's coming in here as we go through the rest of this week and the weekend. We're probably looking at maybe one of the warmest weekends of the year so far across a large part of the Corn Belt. Temperatures are going to be pushing 90, maybe exceeding 90 in a few spots. We're going to be looking at some heat and humidity building. What you're going to hear about a lot this weekend and even later this week is going to be the heat index. Everybody's going to be talking about how hot it is or how hot it feels. Now, keep in mind, heat index usually has no bearing on plants. The heat index is a combination of heat and humidity. As a matter of fact, the higher the humidity is out there, the higher the heat index is. But the thing is, the higher that the humidity is, the better plants like it too, generally speaking. Warm and wet is a lot different, a lot better than warm and dry. So we're going to be watching to see just how the heat wants to build in. The hottest and I would say probably driest areas are going to end up being in the southern Corn Belt, Missouri, southern half of Illinois, southern part of Indiana, let's just say, because the heat dome is settling in there over the lower Mississippi Valley. Now, we're seeing showers and thunderstorms, though, fire off along the top edge of that, all around the rim, actually, from eastern Ohio back through the lower part of the Great Lakes region and curving back into the western Corn Belt as well. Parts of Nebraska and Iowa. So there's going to be some moisture around. It's just going to be along the rim. The areas that stay dry, Missouri definitely stands out to me as being a dry spot here the next few days. Then a good front that comes in still looks like it's on track to start to work in Monday of next week. You can make the argument Sunday night. Let's not split hairs. All right, the front comes through in two pieces. The first piece has an initial cool down and some scattered moisture. I'm liking 1/2 to 1 inch totals across the upper Midwest into the western Corn Belt from Sunday night through Monday night. But then the front really gets some teeth as the cool air starts to settle in, and we're looking at 1 to 2, maybe 2.5 inches of rain now on those latest model runs, sliding across the region. 100% coverage as we go from, we'll say, Tuesday night right on through Thursday. And the cool air that's behind this front is formidable. As you head toward the Labor Day weekend, it's going to feel much, much different. Temperatures normal to below over a good part of the Corn Belt. This will last through the Labor Day holiday weekend. A little bit of an interesting feature to pay attention to, as we mentioned this morning in our online write-up, we've got a tropical system, probably a hurricane, that's going to try and move into the Texas, Louisiana, Gulf Coast areas as we go through the Labor Day weekend. And right now it does look like it wants to have some northern push. I'm seeing moisture go all the way up through Oklahoma, through Arkansas, through Tennessee, into Kentucky. Not quite getting into the Corn Belt, but if this thing happens to have any more speed or strength to it than the models are showing now, yeah, it could be a rain producer for a good part of the Corn Belt, sliding right up the Mississippi Valley. So this is a system we want to watch. We need to watch it for several different reasons. First of all, this far out, tropical systems, you almost have as good a chance at rolling some dice and seeing what comes up as you do pegging where they're going to hit. This thing could miss altogether. It could hit Florida. It could hit Mexico. Or it could hit where it's being shown. But there's plenty of things that could make it go differently, and a lot of that has to do with where the best water is for development. Does it hit it? Does it not? Secondly, direction is going to be key. As we get into fall here, you normally see systems that want to try and curve out to sea, but you get the odd one or two that gets into the Gulf and raises havoc. So, that's going to be the other key here. Where does this thing want to move once it comes into the Gulf? Does it split between the Yucatan and Cuba? Does it cross over a landmass and lose a little bit of punch? Just what does it do? And then I think direction upon impact is going to be good as well. Is this thing heading more north as it comes ashore, or is it kind of heading more northwest? That'll tell us a lot whether we're going to be able to get some moisture to come northward into the Corn Belt. But still, it's an intriguing possibility, something that we're going to watch very, very closely. The cool air that comes in behind the front next week lasts, as we said, through Labor Day weekend, and then we start to warm things up again as we go into early September. A ridge builds back in over a good part of the country. So you know what? We might be pushing temperatures back up to above normal levels for that first full week of September. That kind of warming and the ridge building also means that we're probably going to be looking at a mostly dry scenario, unless that hurricane could throw more moisture northward. The next good front that we see actually may not arrive until around the 4th, 5th, 6th time frame. So we may be spreading out our rains a little bit more here across the Corn Belt as we go through the days and weeks ahead. We'll see whether or not that has any impact on crop development. That's what we've got in your forecast right now. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.